as well. I believe that he was battling for that #1 position at the Tour de France last year, and maybe came into form a little bit too early. He won the Criterium de Dauphiné, and now they can relax and solely prepare. It's not all the time you can get that opportunity to prepare just for a Grand Tour. Many riders go through the year. This could be your program. You maybe start the classics, go into the Giro, or save it a little bit earlier on, and then go for the Tour de France. It's you don't often get the choice. As I would say 75% of the peloton. It's only a lot of the riders that I've got the credentials and the palmarès beforehand, get to kind of pick and choose a little bit, to sit down with the management probably at the end of the year and go through the scenario and what their program will be, because sometimes it kind of changes from year to year, and riders have different targets. So it's an important part of the year is November, because November is when the sports directors sit down with the riders and decide the program for the following year. So nice to see Fuglsang given the full support in the Tour.
So while you're already sat at home missing the cycling in a couple of weeks, the meetings for next year will be ongoing, and the riders will already be thinking about the Giro start in Israel, the Tour de France start in the Vendée, the classics before that as well, and that Vuelta a España that this year was won for the first time by Team Sky and Chris Froome. Talked about the technical nature of the descent on this circuit. We're seeing it here. A little bit of a plateau on the top, which is up and down. It is still at the front, and every time they're racing into the start of this climb. When we get down to the last lap or two, it could be as much about how many people take what kind of risks here.
Yeah, this is a good point, because there could be some risks. If you aren't a diminutive climber, and this type of finish will suit a rider like that. We've already mentioned a couple of names already, one being Gianni Moscon. Sky are riding at the front of the peloton. They have opportunities. They've got Sergio Henao, who looks to be on a reasonably good form at the moment, and I think that Moscon, I don't think Moscon will want to wait. He had a tremendous World Championships in the end, going with Alaphilippe in the end, but unfortunately that wasn't a success for him, but it shows he has the legs. 6th in the time trial as well, so I think he has to go possibly over the top of the penultimate climb and try and gain some time on this kind of tricky descent. You've got to remember, it doesn't really, it kind of goes down a little bit and then rises up before it drops down back into town again.
Just over 2 laps to go. 3 more climbs to San Luca, and here we go. Still the same 3 ahead. You wondered on the last lap if they'd hang on, but they're mightily strong, 3 of the riders who are out there in the front. Finally there's contact, and finally there's 5. Now then, will those on the right hang on? I'm not sure straight away about Dubé. I think his day may be done. It is. Nicolas Hédé is struggling as well. Jacopo Mosca, though, from that original group, motoring on up front.
There is a competition. I think Eddie took the maximum points the last time up. There is a competition for the King of the Mountains as well, so possibly this rider here that's been in the breakaway all day, Jacopo Mosca, the 24-year-old Italian, is really thinking, well, this is my last effort. I'm not going to go up there in the finish, but this is my opportunity to try and maybe take maximum points at the top of this climb, which may seal the King of the Mountains over the overall day.
This time last year he was a stagiaire at Trek Segafredo, was Jacopo Mosca. This is his first year as a professional. Hasn't done too much racing, did quite a bit of racing over in the Far East. He raced the Tour of Langkawi, Korea, Qinghai Lake, as well as we see Vincenzo Nibali on the right-hand side. Just behind him on the left, Diego Rosa. Number 6, there's Jack Haig, another name to really look for. Got his first victory earlier on this year at the Tour of Poland. Hence Kukulera hanging on the left-hand side. It's just been announced that he'll sign for Lotto Soudal. Oh, and Jacopo Mosca.
Well, he tried. You've got to say he tried, but Yeah, maybe a little bit foolish, but you can just see the main body of the peloton. I think it will all be together this time up, and you know, we'll crest the top with the peloton pretty much bringing everybody back. The maximum advantage that the original breakaway got today was 7 minutes and 20, but it was a lot of the World Tour teams came to the front in the run-in towards this circuit, brought it all back. They didn't want anybody having any time at all. So it's bye-bye from Moscow. Good effort today, but it's Kenny Ellison, the French rider, riding for Team Sky, putting the pressure on now. So it means that Team Sky, a couple of their riders will have good legs. That's why Kenny Ellison from Team Sky is pushing it on, because they want to whittle it down. They want to make it hard in these finishing circuits to allow a potential win. Yeah,
a very different look to the group now than the last couple of ascents. It's strung out an all big one line now. We haven't seen that as of yet, and it is Kenny Ellison having a go. This is Ardini in the meantime, but they're in vision behind.
And the British fans will remember Ardini from a few years ago up the tumble in Wales when he won the stage of the Tour of Britain.
A lot of Bahrain Merida jerseys at the front. Vincenzo Nibali has to be feeling good today. Amongst them.
But I think Team Sky, Kenny Ellison is not, they're controlling things, but Kenny Ellison is pushing hard now. They want to really whittle this front of this group now down, so it looks as if Team Sky are really up for trying to take the win today.
Do you think it's definitely Moscon they're riding for, because they have Diego Rosa, they have Sergio now, Ian Boswell's there, I know he's leaving, but there's Theo Gegenhardt, you mentioned, even Sebastian now as well, some good riders in there.
Yeah, I think Moscon is definitely one of them. He's already shown some good form, but Henao for sure is definitely. I'd like to see Theo Gegenhardt given his choice, but Diego Rosso has been helping with the pacemaking at the front of the peloton, so I'm not too sure it'll be him, but Buongiorno's trying to push hard. Zardini starting to kind of drop off a little bit, but it's Barry and Merida setting a tempo at the front now with 4 riders.
Thanks for all your comments on Twitter as usual. David Folks asks if this is not the race for Mark Cavendish. In a word, no, but Mark Cavendish will be racing next weekend at Paris Tour, by the way. It's another race you'll be able to see on Eurosport.
It's not often he rides Paris Tour.
No. Well, I think, as he explained this week, that he wants as much racing as possible towards the end of this year. He's then going to go on to London 6 Day, and he wants to hit the ground running next year. It's been a frustrating year for Mark Cavendish.
You can just see setting up, we're talking about Team Sky, you've got Rosa there on the right hand side, Moscon, Sergio Henao just on the left hand side, so Sky just following the team of Barry and Merida in the red at the front, and also nice to see, as you said, Jack Haig right up there for Orica Scott.
First sighting of Esteban Chavez as well, wearing number 1. Would be one of the most popular winners around if he were to defend his title from last year. Is another man, talking about Mark Cavendish there, who's been through a lot of problems this year in terms of injuries, and of course in Esteban Chavez's case as well, bereavement too.
Just looking towards the front now, Thibaut Pinot is up there, Bernal in the reds, right up there towards the front. So the strong riders starting to we're starting to see them at the front of this peloton, because this hasn't been an easy ascent. Kenny Ellison took it up from the bottom, and then you can just see Barry and Merida really kind of pushing it out. They really want to whittle this field down, and the riders just behind are the stronger riders in the race now. You can just see them, Chavez just popping out as well. So we're starting to see some of the strong riders come towards the front, and it looks as if Nicolas Roche also up towards the front as well.
Got some good form at the minute, Nicolas Roche. This is Antonio Nibali at the front, by the way, Vincenzo Nibali's brother. Vincenzo Nibali in 4th wheel. You can see 2nd wheel is Giovanni Visconti. 3rd wheel there, Franco Pelizzotti, who is the right-hand man of Vincenzo Nibali, who sits with the red jersey and those navy shorts on. They do look very similar. Style similar too.
Yes. Nicolas Roche just taking a bottle at the side. Possa Vivo also up there for AG Tour Le Mondial. So Villermoz also. So they've got a lot of riders, but
it's a sort of circuit that has Villermoz written all over it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. You just see FDJ popping out in the right-hand side there, Pinot. So a lot of the stronger riders starting to show themselves.
And Fabio Aru as well, in about 15th to 20th position further behind. Nice and easy to spot. Oh, And as if on cue, there he is, wearing 91, the Italian flag on his back. Over the line we go. 2 more laps to go in this Giro dell'Emilia that is building to a very, very exciting finish. It's all back together. We await the next attacks. Now it's that little bit of a plateau on the top, then the downhill, the technical parts, and once again, before we know it, they will be racing into that climb again.
Yes, Reichenbach is also there with Thibaut Pinot for Français de Jeu, but it does look as if Barry and Merida want to kind of push on. It goes down and then it slightly rises up. We've got obviously a technical nature to this descent, and we all know that Nibali likes to show that, and you know it's nice and safe when you've got your team in front of you to push out. So it does look as if Nibali trying to pave the way for a win today. We already heard at the top of the programme, it's, you know, he already knows this is you know, the 100th edition, a special edition of this race, and I think Nibali really wants to try and win it, but there's so many other riders in this race that will know that as well. And you know, we're in for a really good battle with the names that we've already mentioned over the last few minutes.
And the names that have won this in the past, as we see some of the stars of today, Vincenzo Nibali, Fabio Aru, Esteban Chavez, all 5 stars.
Yes.
Wow. I think they're done on reputation rather than form, aren't they?
I'm not too sure about 5 stars with Aru.
Thibaut Pinot, 5 stars. Domenico Pozzovivo, everybody can have 5 stars. There you go. Rigoberto Urán as well, who's not somebody we've talked about so much so far today, but very, very good at this time last year. They're the stars of today. In the past, Coppi, Bartali, Girardengo have all won this, and of course the first non-Italian to win it, Eddy Merckx in 1972. A lot of big names have won this race. Vincenzo Nibali looks like he's on a mission. 17 kilometers to go. He said he wanted to take this seriously. He said he wanted to see where his form was. His form must be in a good place. He has the entire team working for him. It's his brother Antonio who's doing the work at the moment. Waiting behind Vincenzo Nibali for Bahrain Merida in that red jersey. Sergio now, the Colombian champion for Team Sky. Another Colombian off to Sky during the winter, Egan Bernal. Moving up on the left-hand side now, we have riders for Canadel Drapac. Hugh Carthy's not too far away from the front. There is Fabio Aru. There's Nicholas Roach and Damiano Caruso as well for BMC. 96 there for Astana Segay Chernetsky, who's got uphill and down dell. And Agir de Zella Mondial, well, it's take your pick from their lineup. They have several riders who could win this race. Thibaut Pinot for Français de Jeu. It's really exciting with 16.5 kilometers still to go. Narrow roads, and here's the move. Here is the move from Giovanni Visconti. Who's going to chase this? Good tactical play from Bahrain Merida, Brian.
Yeah, they set it up and nicely executed by Visconti now, former Italian champion, really chasing this bike to get as much time as possible. But this has really put the cat amongst the pigeons now, and some of the other teams will either have to come to the front to try and control this effort by Visconti or try and join him.
Well, who can join him? This is that little final lip before it descends again. It gets technical and we race into the finishing climb.
Well, I don't think Bahrain Merida had the numbers to take this all the way to the finishing climb, so that's why they decided to make it hard on the climb over the top, and then perfect move by Visconti now.
Narrow roads these, and you're out of sight very quickly. A lot of marshals on the course today. That's because of a lot of these 180 turns. Right round the inside of the bend. And look at that gap already. Wow.
And it's Team Sky's now come to the front to try and control things. They were controlling things as we come onto the circuit and at the bottom of the climb that time round.
Don't look to have big numbers left though, Team Sky. I think they counted 2 riders in there.
Yeah, we've got to remember Henhouse in the national jersey, so there'll be 4 of them as well. So Français de Jeu, I think I've put a rider on the front as well. So very good tactics. Just when everybody was thinking that Barry and Merida were setting things up for Nibali, good move by Visconti, which means that he can go full gas now. Nibali can just sit on the wheels and allow the other teams to start to burn up some of their riders.
1.5 laps to go. Giovanni Visconti, Sicilian by birth. Spent a lot of time in Piemonte and Turin as well. Yeah, his family working in factories up there. A lot of Sicilians who ended up in Turin. He's raced a lot in the Italian peninsula as well. Spent time in Tuscany, just as Vincenzo Nibali did when he grew up in a cycling sense. But we're over the border in Emilia-Romagna. Just outside the city of Bologna, and heading up to the San Luca Sanctuary. How's it been for the first year for Bahrain Merida, very quickly, Brian?
I think it's been good. When you think back, every team struggles a little bit initially. I think with Paris-Nice, with Sonny Colbrelli's win there, it just added that a little bit of confidence. And you know, everybody was kind of waiting for Nibali, and you know, we had a terrific Giro d'Italia, and you know, true to his word, he did come to some good form during it, and you know, really pushed for the win. Okay, he never got it in the end, but I think it's been good. You know, Visconti moving from Movistar was a good move for Visconti. I think it's kind of brought him maybe not back to his best, but you know, close to his best now in attacking style. Love the way he races. You know, multiple Italian champion, and a rider that always wants to kind of go on the attack. So I really like Visconti's style of racing, and he's really fitting in well with this team of Bahrain Merida. And I think they'll get, you know, obviously in the first year, as you say, Rob, they'll get stronger, they'll get to know each other, and you know, that team has got a good future.
Yeah, I think he was a little frustrated not being let off the leash enough at Movistar, wasn't he? And an interesting comment from Mikel Landa this week, saying that he wasn't let off the leash enough at Sky, and he's going to a team that, Alejandro Valverde aside, usually keeps its riders on the leash.
Yes, it's there's a controlled environment with many teams. I know I've set up a team with an opportunist team, MTN Quebec, which went on to be Team Dimension Data. But you know, the further up you get, when you're certainly looking for a, you know, Grand Tour success, it's a little bit more controlled, and you're kind of pigeonholed into you know, a different area or a different number in the team, and it's very difficult to get out of that, and very difficult to get your opportunities.
Gaining time all the time here, Giovanni Visconti. 18 seconds now in the 100th Giro dell'Emilia. Heads back into that straight line, long approach into the climb. He still has to do it 2 times. 2 times alone if he wants to take the win. And if he's helping out a teammate here, he'll at least want to get up this climb and make the other teams have to work.
You can just see he popped it into a smaller gear now. He's just going to ride into this climb. You can just see the arches where the climb starts. So he knows that he's been put into the lead now, courtesy of Bahrain Merida, and he knows that the accelerations will come on this climb, and he doesn't want to really kind of bury himself at the moment. So he knows that there's a good possibility the action is going to come from behind. But the thing about it is, Nibali can just follow, and that's the reason why he is out there initially now, that he knows that his team leader Nibali will follow the wheels. But I think we are going to see some accelerations here. We go into this climb and he's got, what, 20-25 seconds advantage.
Looking good, being followed by Frances Desjeux, however, and then Diego Rosa of Team Sky just behind. Nibali waits, still has his right-hand man just to the right-hand side of him, Franco Pelizzotti, and a plethora of other riders wait and are ready. Still Sky going to pull this back on this lap again, as it's still Visconti pushing on up front. Worth noting that he hasn't had a win yet this year since he moved on to Bahrain Merida. He was second in the first stage of the Tour of Tuscany the other day, second overall as well. Interestingly, his last win on a professional bike race came at last year's Giro della Toscana as well.
He's obviously some good form at this time of year and likes that, but Diego Rosa pushing hard. Reichenbach is up there, Pelizzotti, Jack Haig, Nibali looking very comfortable. Pinot is up there, Nicolas Roche, Herman's also for a BMC, Guillaume Martin, Aru looking a little bit concerned and concentrated, but this gap of about 25 seconds, all Visconti has to do is get over the top of this climb. If he gets over the top of this climb with about 20-30 seconds advantage, he's in with a shout here. I really think if you want to try and win this race, the teams have to not just kind of ride on the front now, try and chip a rider across, and I would be very surprised if we got to the top of this climb without an attack from some of the other teams.
It's been a while since he won in a one-day race of any kind. He took one in Spain last year, but apart from that, 6 years you have to go back for a one-day race in Italy. That was the Gran Premio Industria Commercio. And for a rider who likes to attack and who rides well on circuits like this, surprised it's taken him so long. Visconti's away. Just to see the next time gap, and be good to get a proper timed time gap across the line. They can just about see him up the road.
But the thing is, Rob, it's you have to make the distance up here, because if you're making this effort at the front of the peloton like Diego Rosa is, you're limited now with the teammates. You're deep into a race, you're limited with teammates. Who's going to ride? As soon as Diego Rosa comes over the top, who's going to help him? Who's going to ride with him? It does look as if Reichenbach for France de Jeux is well in there, so maybe Reichenbach and Diego Rosa could possibly kind of bring it back. But I think if you want to win this race, I think some of the five-star riders, I think, have to try and, if they've got the legs, of course, have to try and make the effort this time up.
A lot of five-star riders, as we saw 10 minutes ago. 25 seconds now for Gianni Visconti. The gap's growing, if anything. Diego Rosa tried to make inroads. He's chipping the odd second off here or there, but is it enough? Giovanni Visconti is motoring on for Bahrain Merida, and after he gets to the top here, there will just be one lap remaining. There he is, 1K to the top here. He's about to approach the most difficult part of this climb.
Yeah, we've already had a couple of the corners here. This is probably the hardest part, and I think if Diego Rosa keeps this going, keeps that within about kind of 20 seconds, then the attacks, where you can do most of the damage here is when it starts to level up before the finishing line, because obviously Visconti is went for a long one here, starting to tire a little bit, but you can just see Nicholas Roach and Hermans there in the right hand side for a BMC. They've got two riders there. Why not sacrifice one of them over the top of this climb when it starts to get the gradient starts to ease a little bit, just like now.
It was 25 seconds, it's now 19. 10.2 kilometers to go. Giovanni Visconti trying to hold on for dear life. Diego Rosa's work behind is really chipping seconds off now. Quality of names in this race. Look behind at that group. It's like a who's who. And hear people on the side of the road as well cheering them on. As you said right at the top of the broadcast today, cycling is ingrained in the culture of this particular region. Not sure whether he wanted a shower or not, but he got one anyway. 22 seconds now, growing again.
Yeah, Rosa just kind of holding him. It's a strong performance from Visconti. You can just see Reichenbach is gone as well. So this is a strong performance from Diego Rosa, but I'm not too sure he'll be able to bring that back on his own. As soon as we get further back, we see a lot of the favourites we're already talking about, and 23 seconds now. Diego Rosa is going to get the top of the climb. I really doubt he's going to be able to bring Visconti back.
Bernal was sat just in front of his new Sky teammates, or soon-to-be teammates, just behind. Also see Rigoberto Urán moving forward for the first time in this race, pardon me, in his green jersey. Fabio Aru, there is Urán, just popped into the bottom of the screen. 26 seconds, though, now for Visconti. What a ride this is.
Yeah, he's got a definite chance now. He's good in the downhills. I don't think Diego Rosa is going to bring him back on his own. And he's holding on to a very healthy advantage now.
Takes the bell lap across the line with 1 lap to go. 9.5 kilometers to the conclusion of the 100 Giro dell'Emilia. And at the minute, it's advantage Bahrain Merida, advantage Giovanni Visconti. The team's looking good overall as well, because they still have Vincenzo Nibali sitting in this group, and Sky, with just 3 riders left in the group, sacrificing what they have left. Diego Rosa's given his all, but I'm not sure it's good enough here.
No, he's not going to be able to bring back Visconti on his own. They're going to need some help. So Diego Rosa goes over the finishing line, 1 lap to go. A group of about 40-odd riders. AG2R have also got numbers in this front group, and someone's going to have to come to the front to help out Diego Rosa of Team Sky, because Visconti is not going to be easy to be brought back now.
What sort of things we'll be hearing in his ears now from the team car?
Just he's fully committed there. He rode up that climb. He went into the climb a little bit easy. The gap came back. He resisted, and he's ridden well. On this descent, Diego Rosa is not going to bring any time back whatsoever. So it's now about maintaining his advantage and pushing hard. If he gets over the next part of this climb, because we go down here and we start to rise up again before it gets a kind of technical descent, Visconti is in with a very good chance of winning this race.
Diego Rosa in the black. Franco Pelizzotti, of course, behind, not going to chase his own teammate down. Same goes for Vincenzo Nibali.
They're definitely going to get help, and very difficult to organise a chase and move up in this descent. So it's going to come on this next little bit of a kind of lick up of a climb. Where Visconti attacked the last time round is where the other riders will have to get involved, because as we start to look down in a group of 40, you're limited with teammates, so you're relying on, you know, your kind of team captains. But you can just see Nicholas Roach and Hermans up towards the front. I'm not too sure that they'll be, you know, the favourites coming on to the last climb. So Nicholas Roach, Hermans, a good, 2 good, very opportunists. But I'm still waiting for AG2R. They have to come to the front, and they have to come to the front in this little ascent now.
Yeah, we saw Jack Haig up there for Orica Scott as well, the Australian team, just on the wheel of Ben Hermans. These are the recent winners, as you can see. Chavez, Bacalans, Rebellin 3 years ago with Diego Lisi, Quintana and Carlos Betancourt. By the way, that was his first professional victory back in 2011 when he won this race. So the Colombians have won 3 out of the last 6 editions. They hadn't won before 2011. Betancourt, the first Colombian winner of this race. They're now level second in the nations that have 3 wins each. 81 for Italy, 3 for Belgium, Netherlands and Colombia. Diego Rosa, man from northwest Italy. He's in the centre of the country with Pelizzotti, the northeasterner, and Vincenzo Nibali behind. Well, we know he's very much a southerner. Fiery Sicilian. Well, Martinez up on the right-hand side. A movement here from Villa Triestina. Pelizzotti's going with this one. Diego Rosa's finished, and it's exactly as you said. Gap's grown to 28 seconds here, Brian. There needs to be movement. There is movement, finally.
Yeah, there has to be. It's, you know, one of the second division teams, Villa Triestina, has decided to have a crack here. But you can just see Pelizzotti straight on the wheel. But just look at Hermans just behind. AG2R also moving up towards the front.
It is Dani Martinez, as we suggested. Pelizzotti surely isn't going to come through and take a turn. Dani Martinez, the Colombian rider. There's Ben Hermans now third wheel. Nicholas Roach.
I think it's actually Demarchi that's moved up towards the front for BMC now. So Demarchi's sitting there.
We've got Franco Pelizzotti on the radio there. This is Visconti in the meantime. This is the man they're all chasing. 28 seconds at the last count. Remember, this point on the circuit last time he had 18 seconds. So his lead has grown by 9 now to 27 over the course of a circuit.
It was a good effort by Martinez of Villa Triestina, but on his wheel he had Pelizzotti. Pelizzotti's probably just got on the radio saying he needs a little bit of help. It's Orica Scott now riding on the front to help out, but is it going to be enough? One rider? I don't think, if it is Jack Haig, it's riding at the front for Orica Scott, I don't think he'll be able to bring back Visconti in this descent. So it's going to come down to how much has Visconti got in the legs now to try and hold on in the final ascent up to the climb, because they are. I was a little bit surprised there wasn't any attacks on the the penultimate climb, but for sure it's going to be full of attacks this time up to the finish.
And movement from Orica Scott.
It's is it Chavez?
It is Chavez on the front. Last year's winner driving it, maybe for Jack Haig. Oh, and he's down. Chavez is down, and that is a horrible crash. Taken out behind as well, Androni Giocattoli's Egan Bernal, and that's going to slow everybody up behind. That is going to slow everybody up, and that was a horrible, horrible way to hit the deck. Thankfully, I think he was up pretty quickly there, Esteban Chavez, but a man who's been so unlucky this year, and then this happens. Oof.
Just that slight dampness in the corner there.
Bernal going with him, a rider from Age de Zera Mondial as well, nobody else taken down.
Yeah, the roads looked pretty much dry, but there was just a damp patch there, and the front wheel just went down, and he was going fast, and he came down very hard, and obviously the impetus out the chase now. Perlizzotti, luckily, you know, he never kind of snatched at the brakes there, because he would have crashed as well. But yeah, a very nasty crash for Chavez.
And as a result, the gap has grown by 3 seconds. BMC now to the front. But each time they go left and right now, it's going to be in the back of their minds.
Yeah, of course it is. You don't like to see that at all.
.8 kilometers to go. 30 seconds for Giovanni Visconti. BMC Racing really trying to pull this on with Alessandro De Marchi.
They've got numbers there, Rob. They've got 3 riders up to. They've got Nicholas Roach, as you said. De Marchi's there. Ben Hermans is there. But this man can go down as fast as the riders behind.
I wonder if he's just had a word in his ear about the road, or will they not bother him now? Will he not know about that crash?
No, I think in a descent, you try and keep the radio clear for emergencies. And normally, when it's kind of technical and the race is full on, when you start to hear stuff in the radio, as a sports director, I think the riders should know what they have to do at this point anyway.
32 seconds for Giovanni Visconti. Remember, hasn't won a one-day race on Italian soil since 2011. Oh, very, very wide this time from Ben Hermans. It's little wonder that psychologically there's an effect there.
Yeah, I think it looks as if everybody's a little bit in tenterhooks. Nobody likes to see an incident like that.
And but, with all the bad luck, with all the horrific knee, shoulder, whatever you want injuries that Esteban Chavez has suffered in his career, we do not want another one for somebody who is a hugely talented rider, but also a brilliant character and ambassador for the sport.
Yes, he's such a likeable lad, but he did go down heavy and kind of bounced over. But sometimes when you can go down at speed and you kind of bounce along a little bit, you don't do as much damage. But Visconti, 2.1 kilometers to the finish now, and he's got about 30 seconds.
One climb to San Luca between Giovanni Visconti and a win in the 100th Giro dell'Emilia. Coppi, Bartali, Girardengo, Merckx and all the rest. Their names are on the honour list. Can Visconti add his own name? 2 kilometers to go. This is a horrific climb. He's already taken it on 4 times. It's 10.8% average of a gradient, 18% max. The bike swings from left to right. He's swinging against himself, but he still has 34 seconds on a peloton that's a little nervous, but surely is going to have one final throw of the dice.
Well, you think so? I think it could be enough. I can't see anybody eating into that advantage. Italy have already had a win today with Tatiana Guderzo in the Giro d'Emilia Donne. So the women's race has already been won by Guderzo from the national team.
Here's movement from the left-hand side. Movement from the left-hand side and for Canadale Drapac. And it's Rigoberto Urán who looks around. He's back in the peloton. Sky with Moscon now. 32 seconds. Pelizzotti and Nibali are just going to try and keep this group here. Meantime, Moscon has to pick up the pace again. It's taken the rhythm down. 31 seconds, 1.7 to go.
I think Visconti's a very experienced rider, and he'll know not to go into the red at the moment. There's no real danger, because he knows that 30 seconds, I think, is going to be enough here, because to go over that 30 seconds from this point, there's only about 20 riders left. If you're making that huge effort, if Visconti is wise enough, just sets a good tempo in there, he might lose a little bit of time the last time up, but it looks as if he's going out to win this race.
Oh, again, another move forward. Looking good here, Visconti. Look calm, hasn't looked to tire once at all. To be fair, he's a rider who's always had a pretty good poker face. But he has to be hurting here. 27 seconds. Going past each of those 666 archers. This is Guillaume Martin again at the front, being followed by Pozzovivo.
Yeah, it needs a concerted effort from the group behind. So this is really hurting Visconti now. He's been on the attack for just over a lap now, and this is going to hurt him, but there will be happiness at the finishing line, because I don't think anybody's going to come across these 27 seconds. I think the others are starting to battle for second and third.
Up towards that 18% maximum gradient and the final kilometre. Domenico Pozzovivo in the meantime leading the chase for Age de Zella Mondiale. Here comes Gianni Moscon. Just over a kilometre to go now. Gianni Moscon behind, but he's got 28 seconds to make up. Vincenzo Nibali is following him. Nicolas Roche in third wheel as well, having a go.
Yeah, strong rides here from Moscon, as we know, recently disqualified in the World Championships, but the performances he put in, 6th in the time trial and in the road with going with Alaphilippe in the end, he shows that he's got really good form. But Nibali was up for the job, went straight across to him. Nicolas Roche is also up there, but Nibali not pushing hard. He doesn't want to kind of hinder Visconti. He's kind of looking around, but he does have the legs if he wants to try and go on his own now. I think Visconti's got enough. 1 kilometre to go for Moscon and Nibali, and Nibali doing the good teammate here. You can just see it in front. It's only about 20 seconds, but you got to remember they've made a huge effort, Moscon and Nibali, but Visconti, once he gets round this corner and onto the flatter piece, I think he's got this one in the bag.
Giovanni Visconti, now 34 years of age. He's been a professional since 2005. Now 25 wins in his career. He's looking for his first victory with his brand new team. There's the look around. 18 seconds, 17 seconds, 800 metres to go. He's got a good character chasing that motorbike there. 15. Motorbike just stopped, I think, as it was seen by the commissars. Another nervous look around. 14, the gap comes down. Surely there's not going to be late drama here, Brian.
No, you got to remember that these riders are trying to chase him down, and they're on the limit. So is Visconti. I think he's got enough time now. He's on the flatter part of the course. He just has to maintain this. He has to just kind of focus and go on. You just look at Uran's there, Moscon, Nicolas Roche, Nibali. They're not exactly kind of helping each other. They're riding for a second.
Here's Roche on the left-hand side now. Roche with the move. Some really good form at the moment. The former Irish champion for BMC Racing. In the lime green, you can see Rigoberto Uran there as well. Very good at this time last year, remember, and on the podium, finishing third in the 2016 edition. Here's Visconti, looks set to win it for 2017. A very special edition, the 100th edition. It's a race that started in 1909. On the very first podium, you had the very first winner of the Giro d'Italia, Luigi Ganna. And in 2017, it looks as though it's going to be Giovanni Visconti. Time to zip up the jersey. There is the celebration. Bahrain Merida took control and they have their win. Giovanni Visconti wins for Italy and Bahrain Merida. And behind his teammate Vincenzo Nibali has a chance to get out and try and make it a 1-2. He does. It's Visconti, Nibali, Uran. Bahrain 1-2, and after 5.5 enthralling hours of racing, we've got quite a brilliant finish at the Sanctuary of San Luca and the Giro dell'Emilia.